$200 million is a lot of money. And there's a lot of people looking over your shoulder going, you better spend this money wisely. You know, I've seen it happen. I've seen the pressure that directors are under in that environment. And it sucks.
Hi there everyone, and welcome to this episode of Den of Horror. Today we are going to take a look at another extract from the interview that I did with filmmaker N'cee van Heerden. Now, N'cee van Heerden is kicking ass and taking names in the film industry. His two short films, OI and Hunter's Cabin, are setting the internet alight. OI has gone viral on YouTube with more than 1 million views, and Hunter's Cabin, which gives us a unique take on the werewolf mythology, which I absolutely loved, is winning awards all over the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. So if you want to see or experience the power that the short film medium can really bring, then go and check out those two films in the links below. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Those two films are genuinely, honestly, and sincerely very entertaining, brilliantly made, and simply put, spectacular. So go and check them out. Last week we discussed the Blade remake, and N'cee also gave us his humorous and funny take on Top Gun Maverick, so go and check that out, also in the link below. And today we are going to discuss N'cee's thoughts on big budget Hollywood movies versus the small indie movie, which he prefers, and him basically weighing up the pros and cons of both. So very, very cool. He also discusses his experience in feature films. Most of the movies that N'cee van Heerden has worked on were with Neill Blomkamp. So he gives us a very unique, a very interesting, and quite a helpful take on what makes Neill Blomkamp such a special movie director. And if you happen to be a movie director yourself and you're new to the game, N'cee van Heerden gives you some tips on how you can use the very techniques that Neill Blomkamp uses to improve your own films. So I think that you're going to really enjoy this episode. If you guys like this kind of content, whether it's the interviews or my horror movie reviews, go and hit me up with a subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Drop me a comment down below. It's always nice hearing from you guys. On that note, see you on the flip side.
If the movie genie had to float out of the bottle and give you one wish, and it is between shooting a $200 million movie that is going to be the number one big box office smash hit of the year, or a small intimate indie movie with your favorite actor that will get nominated for an Oscar, which one would you pick and why?
Okay, I'll give you the pros and cons of both. So if you do the big movie and it makes a ton of money, then you can go and do the other movie.
Okay, in reality, yeah.
You know, in reality. Because you would have made the studio a lot of money, and then you can do whatever you want. And the same is true for the other one. If you go and you win an Oscar, you're gonna make more movies. You know, that's just how it works. Like, people would want to work with you. It all depends on. So if I get the $200 million movie, is it gonna work like normal $200 million movies work? Which is, you have 20 producers all telling you what you need to be doing. If it works that way, I'll probably still do the expensive one because you get to do like all the cool stuff. But it makes it harder. Like the small movie, it's just you, and you can decide what happens in it. $200 million is a lot of money. And there's a lot of people looking over your shoulder going, you better spend this money wisely. You know, I've seen it happen. I've seen the pressure that directors are under in that environment, and it sucks. Because you've got studio heads, you've got every single person putting their 2 cents in, like, oh, you should do this here, all these notes, you know, like people who don't make movies. They finance them, sure, but that doesn't mean they're good at making. If they were good at making movies, they'd make their own movies. You know? I think, the challenge of making that expensive a movie and it being received well, I think I can't sidestep that, you know, because you can always go make the small indie movie after that, you know, even just with the money you make from being paid for that other movie, you can use that money and go make the other one. You're still human at the end of the day, and playing with all these I don't care if you're a girl, guy, non-binary, whoever you are, it's fun to play with this, with all the big cranes and all the cool stuff you can do. 200 million.
You take that.
No contest.
Okay, what are some of the movies that you've worked on?
So I worked on mainly Neill Blomkamp's movies, so District 9, Chappie, Elysium. I did multiple things on District 9, but the main thing I did there was behind the scenes. And the awesome thing about those 3 movies is I worked throughout the whole movie, from beginning to end, from pre-production all the way to post-production. So I got to see everything. And also my wife was a producer on those movies. And so I got to hear the inside scoop that a lot of people don't hear about these big movies.
Yeah.
And just that, like I learned so much. Like I was so blessed to have gotten that opportunity.
I know that there are probably some people watching this that'll say, "Well, I'll ask him about the inside scoops," but I'm not going to out of respect. But just
I don't know of many.
But I'm just Neill Blomkamp, famous South African great director. What for you has been his biggest contribution to film? I mean, what makes Neill Blomkamp so special?
It's his vision of visual effects is pretty unique. What Neill did, and I mean, there's a lot of great directors who did great things with visual effects. What makes him different is he also does that whole thing where he doesn't stop at the first idea he gets. He keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And the main thing I learned from it, which sounds very obvious, is aging. Like you take stuff and you age it like it's been used. And just doing that in a movie. So if you want to make a short film, age everything. Like even if the person went and bought it new, maybe they walked past something and they scuffed it. It just, unless the wardrobe they have needs to be pristine, like they're an angel or something. But even so, put some like where they fought the devil or something. I don't know. Right. It just gives character to every, like, it's a small thing and you don't necessarily pick up on it. But, well, since I started picking up on it, I see it everywhere now. And I especially see it if it's not done and if it's not done properly.
Right.
Age everything. And it just takes your movie and it puts it on this whole new level. Because you just going, why isn't that aged? Makes you look at that prop or that wardrobe or whatever it is in a different light. And you go, all of a sudden, you now have this extra layer of detail in your movie just by saying age everything. Right,
yeah. And it's almost like you doing that kind of thing or paying that kind of attention to detail. You don't realize how it's drawing you into the movie, but when it's not there, it distracts you. So it takes you out of the movie.
I see it a lot in short films where, and a lot of times it's first-time directors and first-time everything. I was lucky. I had very experienced people that work on my short films, but even so, you still have to go. Hey, it for me now, it's become a thing of, as I talk to the production designer, I would say, okay, age this thing in this way. Like I've got thoughts now on where this should go. So it's not just age it. It's like I want it aged, but I want it aged in this way, like this happened in the past. Right. So it tells its own story, each prop and each wardrobe.
Well, that's about it for today from us, folks. Next time I will be continuing my discussion with N'cee van Heerden, where we are going to discuss the parallels between film and theatre. We're also going to look at Steven Berkoff, the maverick playwright from the 60s and 70s. And N'cee is also going to tell us who his favorite filmmaker of all time is. And by the way, if you are a fan of the filmmaker Quentin Tarantino, then please check out my episode where I look into Quentin Tarantino's top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. That's right, Quentin Tarantino, like you, happens to be a very big fan of horror. If you like this kind of content, please bite me with a subscribe or comment down below, and I really look forward to seeing you all next time. Stay safe, stay happy, and most of all, stay horror.